I think you're going to really enjoy this share. And as always, when I make these posts, I try to add value and talk about my journey and how these things have impacted me. And the hope in that is that it helps you to maybe gain some clarity and to visualize what those next steps in your life might look like. So I think by the subject heading, it's a really interesting one about your own self-belief in overcoming our fears. And for me in particularly, that one thing can hold you back from so many things in your life: fear. And I think we all have it. And I actually think, it might sound strange, but I think fear can be healthy when it's done in the right way. For example, when we're kids, we're taught, be fearful of fire. Don't put your hand in the fire, because what's going to happen? You're going to get burned. And I mean, that's in a very simplistic way, but I think as we go through life, and it's all about choices, we have options. And in a lot of cases, it can be a fear of something that holds us back from getting involved in something. And in a lot of cases, it can be good to have that fear. You might have street smarts, and maybe getting involved in something that may be not healthy to you or will add to your life. So you take a pass on it. So I think if we didn't have fear as we go through life, it would be a bit of a mess, to be quite honest. You'd be kind of going from one train wreck to another. However, the flip side of it is that when fear can hold you back from doing things in your life that you really want to do. And I've experienced that like everybody else. I talk about getting to this point in my life and in finding something that just makes me so happy and so passionate and so fulfilled for what I do. But I had to overcome fears to get to that point. Now, I find as we get older, and it's just my opinion, I find as we get older, fear can hold you back more and more and more. And I think the reason for that, in my opinion, is that as you go through life, you get knocks. It's natural, it's normal. It happens to us all. You get setbacks. And I think each of those setbacks just kind of impacts you a little bit more, that you're more hesitant to try something new for fear of failure. And I can certainly attest to that. It has held me back. I had to get over that. And I can look back now and say I'm so grateful that I faced my fears. And I think it can be a number of fears. And certainly when I made the decision to change my life, and at 52 to learn new skill sets, to start a new career, I had a lot of fears. I had fear of failure. I had fear of being judged. I had fear of letting my spouse down. I had fear of not being able to do it. Learning a new career, a new skill set at 52 is kind of unusual. But I had to overcome those fears. Any one of those fears could have held me back. Thankfully they didn't, because I was determined. But I understand that those fears are very real. Now, I look at the community, being on the other side of it, I look at the community, being in the SFM and being with thousands of like-minded people. And I'm talking about people in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s and upwards. Couple of things in common. Every single one of us overcome some kind of fear to take that step and be where we were now. And the second thing that's very relevant and very common to every single one of us in there is that we all needed change. That was it. We all needed change in our lives. And that's really, really powerful, because just by virtue of you watching this, you have signed up for the free video series. You very kindly watch these video vlogs regularly. But the reason that brought you here, it's change. You are looking for change in your life. And I can say, from being on the other side of it and in leaning into those fears, it is so worth it. I look at my life now and I look at how it could have been if I didn't take that very first step, and my life would look so different now. I would not be sitting here smiling. I promise you that. So I encourage you to have a think about that. And to make this massive shift, a massive change in your life, it's taking one small step. It's as simple as that. You know, I've lived through a lot of my life, and I remember in my, oh my gosh, in my late teens and my early 20s, people would talk about, what's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan? And I used to get baffled at that because I felt under pressure to have this plan, how my life was going to be for the next 5 years or for the next 10 years. What I would say to you now, if you're in a similar bubble where there's that kind of environment that you feel under pressure to plan your next 5 years or your next 10 years, let me ask you this: how's that working out for you? Like, seriously, how's that working out for you? Life does not go like that. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm all for plans to a degree. You know, my life, those of you that have followed me for a bit, you know that I had this amazing career on cruise ships, traveled the world, probably 2 or 3 times over 20 years. I then lived in Hawaii for 2 years. I lived in Italy for 1 year, and now I live in Grand Cayman for 3 years. I'm a simple Irish guy that just at 26 decided I need things to be different. That didn't happen by luck. It came with planning to a degree. But I can also tell you that most of the things that I planned to happen in my 5-year plan and my 10-year plan, they didn't happen. Without exception, if I look at my 20 to 25, my 25 to 30, so on and so on, life never went the way that I expected it to go. It went amazing. It went in beautiful ways, but not the way that I expected it to go. So I kind of do it in a totally different approach now that I'm going to challenge you to do. And rather than planning how your life is going to be, I'm going to ask you this question: how do you feel right now? It's a really deep question, but simply put, how do you feel? You know, watching this, do you feel happy? Do you feel like you're on top of the world, like life is amazing, couldn't be better? You know, you're so fulfilled, passionate about your work and the quality of your life, you know, with the balance of your life. I'm thrilled for you if you feel those things, but there's a very good chance that you don't feel all of those things, because chances are if you did, you wouldn't be here. And so I'm going to challenge you to have a think about that, rather than getting caught up in this, you know, what's your life going to look like in 5 years' time or 10 years' time. Think about, how do you want to feel? And not even 5 years from now. How do you want to feel 6 months from now? Actually, you know what? How do you want to feel 2 months from now? Do you want to feel exactly as you're feeling right now? Or do you want to feel stress-free? Do you want to feel like life is amazing? Do you want to feel passionate about what you do when you get up in the morning? Do you want to feel like you're in control of your life? Do you want to feel like you're well on the way to starting up your own successful online business and making this dream a reality? You know, the reason I said, how do you want to feel 6 months from now? And then I said, well, how do you want to feel 2 months from now? When I joined the SFM, literally 2 months later, I launched my own successful online company. 2 months. It's not a long time in the big scheme of things. That 2 months is going to pass regardless. I make a lot of my decisions now by saying, how do I want to feel 2 months from now, or how do I want to feel 6 months from now? I let that guide me, rather than being caught up in this wishy-washy, you know, what's your plan? What's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan? I would strongly encourage you to tap into your emotions and to say, how would I like to feel 2 months from now, or 6 months from now, or 5 years from now? And that's a very real and honest conversation that you're going to need to have with yourself to ultimately determine, am I the happiest I can be right now? If not, what am I going to do about it? And what is holding me back? And my opinion of it is, most probably it's a fear of something like that, whether it's a fear of failure or a fear of change after so many years doing something, or a fear of what friends and family might think, and a fear of letting your spouse down. All those things, I had them not long ago. I had them. And you know, I can only say to my beautiful wife Peggy, who along with me was absolutely a little bit skeptical in the beginning, she believed in me. She believed in me, and that was enough for us to overcome that fear and to take that next step And I will be forever grateful that I've taken that next step, because it has changed my life. So I hope you found some value in this. I really want to help you. And, taking that next step, once you get rolling with that, if it's anything like my experience, you're never going to look back. So do yourself a favor, overcome that fear, believe in yourself, and take that next step. You've nothing to lose. You've so much to gain, but you've nothing to lose. So a couple of things. If you're ready to take that next step, do click below. I'm going to send you into the all-in package. There's a great new updated video there from Stuart that really calls out to COVID-19 and what it's done to our economy and what's waiting for you in the online world. So I definitely encourage you to get into that. If you're still not quite ready to take that next step, as always, please reach out to me. I get calls every day. I set up meetings and clinics here in Grand Cayman with new members and with new people that are thinking about joining. I have Zoom calls every day with people from all over the world. I love what I do, but the reason I love what I do so much was because I overcame my fear and I took that first step. And you can too. The great thing is that I am here for you, to help you in your journey. So please take that step, and let's do some magic to what your life can be and how you can feel 2 months, 6 months from now compared to how you feel right now. So I hope you enjoyed this. As always, please keep reaching out, and please stay safe out there. Thanks so much for watching.